Hey guys, so welcome back to the Great Eastern Chronicles. Let's carry on where we left off. Our voyage to Hong Kong has been rudely interrupted by a near collision, which just took place while we were stuck in Miss Pavlova's cabin. The place looks like an utter mess. After the ship began to tilt, we managed to save Miss Susato from falling over. But we also had an epiphany as to how the crime scene may have become a locked room. Let's find out what's happening in part 3 of our investigation. Somehow the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. I feel like we're having an extended investigation here because I don't think there would be a day 2, would there? When it comes to the trial? Susato-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. That's right, there's supposed to be something on the other side we were apprehensive about. I can see why now. It's Seaman Beef Stroganoff, and not just Inspector Hosonaga with him. You! What you're doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Ah, you both look unhurt. Good. I wish I could say the same about you, Inspector Hosonaga. But another curious thing is that it's Miss Pavlova's quarters, not Mr. Roylot's anymore. So I guess the jig is up. Yes, we're fine. Thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes. It appears to have been a false report, though. A false report? Oh. How did that happen? There's a dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. I wonder if it was Mr. Herlock Sholmes who maybe decided to investigate what the emergency stop button does to replicate the fallen books, perhaps? This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos! Passengers are screaming! Crew are running everywhere! Oh, well, see, we were being good, and we decided to, hunker down here in Miss Pavlova's cabin. This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Huh. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? Come on, who else could it have been? You wicked intruder, dressed all in black. You are the devil. You're not talking about me, are you? Sorry, me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is a first. Not to mention I thought I was wearing a brown uniform, not black. Maybe she's got her English confused again. You opened my traveling case. How could you? I did not. What? No, we didn't touch it. Whatever was in there broke free, okay? That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. To shelter from the impending collision with the other ship, of course. Not to breach your privacy or anything. Inspector! Yes? Oh. Do they know you're an inspector? Arrest this man! I know he did it! He is a criminal! Is it not enough that he has killed a man? Oh, wow. Okay. I thought you didn't know anything. Duh! And he is stowaway as well! He Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Promises to... What? Take him away. He's a trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away. Trespassing. Killing! She is right. You are devil! Yes, because the devil trespasses. It doesn't look good, does it? No, not really. You're probably wondering how I came to be in this situation. There is cell below deck. Throw him in! I'm surprised that wasn't done already. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait! A cell? Please, Inspector Hosonaga, is there nothing you can do? Besides lay your life on the line, of course. This is a Russian vessel. I really have no jurisdiction here. Huh. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. Save for having his head cut off. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately! Run, Ryunosuke! Run! Okay, well, we've got 3 people we can speak with. We probably need to talk with Miss Pavlova, come to some sort of an arrangement. Surely we can blackmail her and threaten to reveal what was truly in her case. Let's go down the line, though. Starting with Inspector Hosonaga, you've got yourself into a difficult situation here. By entering this cabin uninvited, I mean. Sorry. I was just so desperate to find a clue. I'm afraid there's really nothing more I could do to help you. If I push my luck any further, a punch to the face will be the least of my worries. Yeah, you might lose the other lens of your glasses. I'm really sorry. I have to take responsibility for giving you the freedom to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin. Now this has happened, I'll have to report to the captain at once. I really need some help here. Yeah, well, let's just disregard what Inspector Hosonaga has to go through now that he has to report to the captain what's going on. I need a savior to rescue me from this crisis. I need a guardian angel. Where's my savior? Please, just give me a little more time.
I do nothing for you, except show you a way to a ship's prison cell. Don't drop the soap while you're in there.
Oh, thanks, but no thanks. But I'm innocent. I didn't kill anyone.
And trespassing and stowing away, I have plenty of reasons to throw you into brig.
Well, you know, sometimes life can lead you down some unusual avenues and, well...
Enough! You are guilty! Ship cell is only place fit for you.
Come on, there has to be someone. Some savior to rescue me from this crisis. I like how we're begging for a savior. Miss Pavlova, can I get out? Listen, I'm sorry that we stuck in here without your permission, but get out now. We just needed to investigate in here to help understand what happened to... Sorry, I can't pronounce it. Ugh, it's no use. She's not going to listen. I need to find someone who will. There he is! I knew he'd be in this room somewhere. What the hell are you doing? You're a coat now? What the... What are you doing up there? Mr. Sholmes! He's got the tiara on and everything. Naturally. I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles will feel like on one's head. Have I not told you that as a detective, it is my business to know what other people do not? This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh, no, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook before then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. Right. I wish to determine if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall, so full of brag and bounce. I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. Jeez. What the heck's he doing a speed bag routine for? You again. The great detective. Inspector. I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than the hook on the wall next time.
What is to report? Speak!
Please, enlighten us. An urgent report from a great detective can mean but one thing. Yes. The case of the curious murder that took place last night, here on this vessel, the steamship Buria, has been solved. By me, naturally. Oh, really? Okay, what was responsible? Huh. What? Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist, and no matter how improbable, it is going to be the correct solution. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Oh my god. Are we doing it again? Are we actually doing it again? Please tell me we are. Although it will be like the second time in this case, you know? You'd think that spaces out, but who knows? I'm pretty excited.
Ha! You have solved it? Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing student boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe.
How do you know he was killed this morning? For all you know, he was killed last night.
It is this stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it.
Oh yeah, because handcuffs is evidence. I didn't do it! The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Yeah, well, I've just established how the room could have been locked, so it's obvious someone could have walked in and out, no problem. Because, as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories.
Locked room, that is point.
The killer must have been very happy that occurred. I wonder if they knew that was what would happen if they pressed the emergency stop. The room was locked? Well, I can't deny that. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. You're all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Huh. I wonder if he deduced it as well. Was he in this room the entire time, or did he come in after we opened the door? Oh yes, there is another entrance. An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. Okay, well, we know that can't be the case, right? What other entrance? We never discovered one. Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator man! What? The ventilator?
You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole.
Yeah, well, you're a big butchy man, okay? Beef stroganoff? That's because your arms are as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through that tiny opening? It's not possible. Unless you mean to say the killer was Miss Pavlova's pet. It could be an adder, I wonder. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, what do you mean? Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. I wonder if the whistling sound was maybe Miss Pavlova's approach to the ship, maybe another boat, or something signaling that she's arrived and the boat needs to stop so she can get on board. Could be the case, but the fact is, there are no windows in that room, which troubles me. So where did the whistling come from?
Precisely, my dear madam.
But what does it mean? What is this speckled band?
The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin.
Oh? Oh god, here we go. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing?
There is a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready.
Oh, you're gonna beat up the animal?
What I'm about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your cores. Behold!
Gah! Ah! What the? It's a snake! It is an adder! And Beef Stroganoff is just no-selling the entire thing.
Allow me to introduce you all to the band. The speckled band.
A snake?
Indubitably.
Snakes on a boat. Everyone's just stunned. Like, what the hell is a snake doing on board this ship? Well. Mr. Sholmes, just, one thing.
Pray, what troubles you?
A lot of things. First off, I don't like snakes to begin with. Second, it's wrapped around Beef Stroganoff's face. I mean, at least it's got him quiet for now, but what's his deal with it? And why on earth is this her friend? Well, that snake, isn't really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. I think in this case, you'd have to call it a striped band. Yeah, wouldn't you?
You both see and observe with distinction. However, do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall?
Oh, so the culprit painted the speckled band to a striped one.
Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap.
How exactly? How exactly is this a trap?
I think perhaps it is time I explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova?
Can I get my cuffs off, please? I'd really like to boogie like you just did.
I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me.
There are two conclusions I have drawn from the facts.
Oh, here we go.
Number one. Last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin.
Ah.
And number two, it coiled around his neck and snapped it. Apparently. That same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life.
No.
She's turned as white as a bowl of rice again. Sholmes must be right. He's hit the nail on the head! Oh, we're agreeing with his great deduction now, because I guess he's found a culprit other than me. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi? Looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend of your neck. So, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Here we go. Buckle your seatbelts, guys. The great deduction, the game is afoot. We're gonna need to course correct. Just like how we almost collided with another ship that didn't exist. Intruder's identity. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Sorry, I can't emulate your accent, yet you cannot deceive yourself. Okay, so that's right. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. Aching heart. Huh. Okay. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Shift the lights. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. Oh, it's not, is it? And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Damn, that snake is freaking threatening. So what was she looking at? Was she looking at Mr. Stroganov? Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. So, what explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? So she saw something. Uh-oh, she's hiding again.
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin. Evidently, after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours shed its original skin. No?
I don't know what you're talking about.
So that's why he switched from the speckled band to the striped band? It shed its skin? Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Right. Using the bell cord on the other side as a bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. So that's why he thinks there was another entrance into the room, because he's accusing the snake of being the murderer. We might have to cross-examine the snake when we get to the trial. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake, whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. A snake so dreadful, we can only imagine it would be found in the deepest depths of India. An Indian adder, huh? A beloved speckled snake. Okay. Topic 2. How Mr. Asogi died. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. Right. Spell it out. How did this young man lose his life? And why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. That's correct. That's what we read in the report as well. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. No. There was no poison deducted? There was no poison found. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime.
Oh no, could there be?
She does seem worried she's involved. Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Oh. That's incorrect. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by the venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestiges of the snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. Okay, so let's pretend for a minute that the snake did in fact kill my good friend and partner, Kazuma. Why the fuck would he write wardrobe on the floor? Why? Oh, the snake has bitten me. Oh, I should get medical attention. No, you know what? I can't. It's too late. I'm on the ground. There's ink on the right. Oh, God. I only have time to write one word. Snake is obviously too few letters. I need to make this as dramatic as possible. I'm gonna write wardrobe. Not only is it not gonna be in katakana or hiragana, I'm gonna write it in fucking Cyrillic. Oh, God. We're gonna need a serious course correction here.
This makes no sense.
It does to me. There's no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? Yes, she did. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. So she is linked to his death, but it doesn't appear to be because of the traveling case. Okay. Like, the only way we can obviously deduce this is that, she realized the snake killed Kazuma. She ran to the next room. Or maybe, sorry, let's rewind. She ran to the next room to find her snake. She found her snake. She found Kazuma dead. She realized her snake killed Kazuma, so she quickly scribbled wardrobe on the floor herself. That's the only explanation why wardrobe would have been written on the ground. If we're following Mr. Shobes' line of questioning here. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that your case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt.
You don't.
It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that he heard minutes before his end. So you think that was what, like a signal to go kill him? That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend.
To train?
Indeed. You'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with a whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more.
Huh.
Do you deny this snake has undergone such training?
It's not true.
Well, she's denied it. Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Right. Well, I've found a lot of holes, but I'm looking forward to dressing down the great detective. I will need these cuffs off, though. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Thank you for that wondrous performance. We're all just staring. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. Okay, so she... Okay. Alright, so she's absconded from the ballet. She's on the run. With a tiara worth 20,000 rubles. She figures, you know what? I'm going to kill the guy next door. Maybe he's making too much noise. I'm going to unleash my trained pet snake to kill him. There on the floor, you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. That is true as well. We've got a saucer of milk on the floor. I don't think snakes exactly lap up milk. Incredible! You've solved the mystery! I like how Ryunosuke's like, wow, you did it! As long as it's not me! Yeah, that's correct. I think that's it. Let me investigate some more. I don't deserve to be in the cell. Amazing. Your great deduction really lives up to its name. I see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Well, we all only have one left hand, typically. Yes? Don't ruin it, please.
Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes?
Please, Usato, don't. We're on the verge of allowing me free reign aboard this ship. But of course, what's on your mind?
It's just about your deductions before. Some things don't quite make sense to me.
I welcome questions as to my method, and will answer both loudly and proudly.
Oh, well, good. First of all,
Oh god, she's got a literal book full of inconsistencies.
snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family.
You are well informed, madam.
And reptiles, don't drink milk.
Ah. That's why I think she had a different pet in that case. And the snake had to have come from somewhere else.
It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward.
No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do her bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Pray, continue. Any other holes in my great deduction?
Well, there is something else. Snakes have no ears,
So they can't hear whistles.
Ah. Yes, so I'm not sure it would really be possible to signal a snake by whistling.
But madam, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute?
I think perhaps the performers play their music in time with the snake's natural movements.
The snake actually is doing the performance, and the charmer actually is the one being charmed. Oh. I see. No hands, no feet, no ears. These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. Don't take it out on the snakes, Mr. Sholmes.
There's one other thing. Just one. For now, anyway.
You have more?
Snakes use the scales on their bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb up a flat bell cord like the ones in these cabins.
Then it should try harder. It should give 110%.
Please don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator to the next door cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have had a part in this.
Oh man, now he looks dejected. I don't like seeing a dejected Sholmes, especially with all his kind of energy. Inspector Hosanaga's like, I just got scammed? But, obviously, there is something to glean from this. Miss Pavlova's, relationship with the incident.
I think we need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh no, you don't mean...
Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest deductions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be.
I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. Right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again.
What?
Haha! I can point and snap my fingers as I please.
You've done it again! Your handcuffs are gone.
Where did they go? Fear not. I shall see they're restored after our work is done. I really wish you'd leave them off, especially because you're not even accusing me of being the culprit anymore. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Let's crack the case, friends. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes, please. Just wait a single second. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself, so she has, obviously, some involvement. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. Nah, she's looking at her hand. She does have a pained expression on her face.
Yes, that's true. She looks as though Kazuma-sama's death is weighing heavily on her mind.
But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly, is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. Aching heart or a claw scratch?
Yes!
There we are. She has been scratched by her real pet. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, that claw scratch smarts with pain. Indeed, and a simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night?
Ah!
Well,
When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I am sad, the pain from this wound is worse.
interesting. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So, we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which you boarded this vessel, was it not? Yes. Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. It seems likely that the scratch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? And I don't think snakes have claws either. No hands, no feet, no ears, no claws. Except, snakes don't have claws, do they?
No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow.
Well then, if that snake isn't her pet, what is? What's the true identity of this friend of hers?
We should follow her gaze, Naruhodo-san.
That's where we'll find the answer. I think it's under the table. Not quite under the table, but there is a photograph frame. I wonder if I should start inspecting these things before I present them, just to get some extra information. Ah, look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova brought with her when she ran away. Oh, it's such a cute little kitten. And it's got a bell, too. Aw.
She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she?
Yes, that's true. But personally, it's the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Ah, we didn't need to inspect it further anyway. Little kitten. Look at the little cat Miss Pavlova's cuddling here.
Oh, what a cute little kitten. It could vie with you, couldn't it, Naruhodo-san? For the blackest outfit.
A black kitten. And from the look of this picture, at least, Miss Pavlova seems very attached to it.
Yes!
Here it is. It's the little kitten we see before us. Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand, Max, makes that abundantly clear.
Oh no.
The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you?
Ah!
That's why we couldn't see the claw mark, because she's always holding her hand. Right, nice.
Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind.
Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. Whereas, regrettably... this specimen's markings do not fit that description in any way. So what, pray, was it? What explanation can we then give, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? That's when she pulled something out of her pocket. I don't know why. You should have just kept it in there.
No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this.
Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's sloughed skin. Okay, it's obviously not the snake's skin.
Did you see that? She just took something out of her pocket and hid it behind her back.
If she'd just left it in her pocket, no one would ever have known. Thank you, Ryunosuke.
Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Sholmes' specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something.
I thought deduction was his specialty. Or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too.
Anyway, I find it hard to believe that that's the skin of a snake.
In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? So, glossing over it, it does say snake's sloughed skin, but there is, something there, isn't there? Let's try and investigate it further. Well, it is speckled, and it is a band, but what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort. And that looks like a handle at one end. I think it may be a cat's toy. This sort is common in the West, apparently. Sorry. How is that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You only need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. That sounds positively adorable. It does, doesn't it? Cat's toy. There we are.
Yes!
Present. It is not a snake slouch skin, but a cat's toy. Yes, the thing you are trying but failing to conceal is a cat's toy. Precisely, and the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. Ah. And it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. Why? That's the question. You waved it around, I presume. Naturally, the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can be only one answer to that. After her feline friend disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Right, so she had naughtily snuck into Kazuma's room and she was trying to call it back. Ah. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of a cat by the name of Daka. Kya? Huh. A truly troublesome feline young Daka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova? The photograph of Miss Pavlova and Darka has been entered into the court records. That bell that it's wearing is going to certainly come in handy, I'm sure. A photograph of Miss Pavlova and her friend, a kitten named Darka. The tiara she would wear on stage can also be seen. Huh. That is true.
It was after I gave her food last night. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand and then ran up the bell cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she is so naughty.
Alright. A beloved kitten. Solved. Topic number 2. Music resumed. Spotlights on. Death by venomous snake bite. Clearly can't be the case. Moving on. We come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life? And why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. True? In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Not true.
What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-sama's body.
That's right. Even if there was, if it was poison, like, there's no visible wounds on the body. The snake has fangs. How is it going to inflict the venom into Kazuma's body without making a wound? But Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned.
Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now.
Alright, well, let's present the post-mortem report.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes, I knew it was one or the other. Of course you did.
His neck was...
Indeed. The breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seaman Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, you know. I look like I've got my spine snapped just now. My shoulders hunched. The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, only Sir Seaman Beef Stroganoff could have snapped his neck with his burly arms. We can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime.
Oh no, could there be?
Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. Huh. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something. Or someone.
Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though.
Presumably, Darka didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow.
I suppose. It's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident.
Oh, yes. A bad fall could explain it.
It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man.
And that would be a truly tragic way to go. All that potential wasted because he couldn't keep his balance. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? We do have the mark on the floor. A piece of a small glass object and what looks like a scuff mark made by Kazuma's shoes. Whatever this small glass object was, could have been used to whack him.
Yes!
Let's use that. Mark on the floor. Alright. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish.
Shoe polish?
I like how we're, metaphorically in the room right now. Indeed. Positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed. Which I carry now, as a matter of course. Also, that Kazuma's body is here as well. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. Huh. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asogi's laced leather shoes. Huh. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. Wait. That's the bell on Darka's collar, of course. It's because that picture's in black and white. I didn't think that it could be bright pink or purple. For some reason, Mr. Asogi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. He tripped on Darka.
Please, no.
How does she know this? And, by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life.
No!
Uh-oh. It's not looking good, Miss Pavlova.
I don't know. I don't know anything about this.
Is that really true, Miss Pavlova?
No.
What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that traveling case. No, it must be the remnants of the bell. Or the collar, sorry.
I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more. It can't be true. I refuse to accept it.
I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened.
But...
And if this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right, Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin. Somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Oh dear. So, I don't know where this is all leading. Did he actually die? Surely not. Surely we got, like, a trial coming up. I wonder, are we gonna need to defend Miss Pavlova now or something? I don't know.
Where, I wonder?
Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Alright, looks like we've got 3 options. Let's maybe take a look at the waste paper basket. We did say there was nothing in there.
This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them.
But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Huh. Oh, what's that?
It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it?
Yes, it is. We did look in here before. We said there was nothing of note, but I feel like I've seen it somewhere before.
If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you.
Let's present it.
Yes!
It's in here. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Asogi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. So you were in that room. How else did you recover this?
Oh no.
Or wait, no. Sorry. She kind of been in the room. Because if she was in the room, she would have collected that one too. So I guess when Darka eventually came back, she saw that it only had part of a bell. And she couldn't go in to retrieve the other half because the door was locked. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the wastepaper basket in your cabin?
Yeah.
You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not?
I don't.
I don't know, and that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question.
What?
Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes. I already know. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, that would be the photograph.
Yes!
If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble? Yeah, your absent feline friend, Darka. Oh dear. Is that really what happened?
I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry.
So that's why animals are banned from the boat, because they can cause people to trip over and die. Death by tripping over a cat. Solved. Deduction complete. It's elementary. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night.
It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands.
People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments.
She was so fast. She disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her.
And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. Yeah, she just said that she got scratched. Great detective.
Yes. And I had read the rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me.
Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really.
So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure. If someone was there, he must be sleeping.
So at that point you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back again. By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin.
Darka always loved this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return.
Let's take a look at the court record again. We've got 13 minutes unaccounted for, do we not? 12 minutes, sorry. You can hear a faint whistling sound. That was obviously Miss Pavlova whistling to try and get Darka back. And then 12 minutes later, she, dangled the speckled band? So the faint whistling sound Cosmo wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened.
Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then...
Whoa. fell.
I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out, and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent.
Cosimo was... I don't think he died from the fall. He must have been knocked unconscious. Someone had to have come in to finish the job. Surely. Surely. From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Buria is a large vessel, but even she could pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Osogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. Well, yeah, of course, that's not what happened, because someone wrote the dying message. And we just established that Pavlova did not go into the next room because she would have gathered the bell. Right? But what became of the kitten afterwards?
In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator.
Yataka's nowhere to be seen.
I must have forgotten to lock my case.
That's right, we didn't free her, that's for sure.
And now she's disappeared again.
Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself, at least. Takes one to know one.
When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened.
I see.
I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back.
Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? And where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Is he... It's your pet, isn't it? He's smiling. Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Pirotsko. Pirotsko. What? What? That snake belongs to you. He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want me to be so long without close friend? Without someone who understands? Couldn't you find someone a little more human who understands you better? Yeah, the snake doesn't even have ears. But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake. Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Pirotsko does not have venom. He is harmless, very long but very gentle. He's adorable, like Granny. Oh, yeah, like Granny Stroganoff. It's venomless? Yes, now he's hungry, so he is in bad mood, but once I feed him, you'll see a big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? No, we already established that reptiles don't drink milk. Ha! Like they say they milk chickens? Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Pirotko eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses. Or mice. Oh, so... is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Of course! How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. And I can't see Mr. Sholmes' eyes at all, and it's kind of creepy. It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle. It can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories like you, great Detective Sherlock Sholmes, who thinks he knows everything with his great deduction spectacular. My Pirotsko has nothing to do with this incident. Okay, sure. So that's what happened. that's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. I'd say half-truth. Ryunosuke, half-truth.